Hey there, Rack on Beer viewers. Welcome to Homebrew Wednesday. Yeah, I am recording this on a Sunday. Don't tell nobody. I think I'm gonna be able to get away with it. But well, actually, I shouldn't have told you, or else I would have gotten away with it. If it wasn't for you and you pesky kids. Anyway, I'm recording it on. I'm recording it on Sunday just to make sure that I get one recorded this week. Uh, Last week, kind of work got in the way, which is kind of what happens to my homebrew Wednesday schedule in the first place. Is that it's always like I was always trying to record them on Wednesday or Tuesday afternoon, and it's just not not conducive always after working a full day to try and do one of these, even with the no editing policy. No editing. Um, so this is actually the Homebrew Wednesday I had planned on doing last week, which was to take a look at my old ale, which I have chosen to put in this can type apparatus glass here, just because I like it. I like this glass. It caught my eye when I was going through the glass inventory. This is my Shorts Brewing from Bel Air, Michigan. I bought this glass like 6 years ago, and I only just brought it back with me last January, because I had just always forgotten it. So apparently my mom really misses it. So sorry, Mom. Sorry I stole your glass, or well, my glass that you've been loaning for 6 years or something. Anyway, that is completely off topic. This is the Hodgepodge Old Ale. Any of you old heads out there might remember this back from when I used to brew more. I had, from my last dry spell of brewing, I had a buttload of malt that had sat around. I'd bought malt before I moved to this house, which was years ago. And it had gotten lost kind of in the move. It had just gotten tucked away in a drawer. Um, and yeah, I just used a whole lot of just leftover malt, and I brewed this a Hodgepodge Old Ale, and then I put it on Kvike, a strain of Kvike. I can't even remember which one, from some brewery in the or some yeast lab in the UK. So it didn't even make sense, the name. I think it was like Velcry or something. But and it sat around for a long time, and it's been in the keg a really long time. This beer's got to be a year old now, I would say. So year since I brewed it. But you can see it's got a really nice color. If I remember correctly, which I don't even think I was measuring stuff on the day. It was some leftover mix of leftover pale ales, which was probably some Maris and some Golden Promise, maybe some Pilsner malt, and then I know that the rest of the like base of it is Red X. I had bought 2 kilograms of Red X really long time ago before I even moved here, and it got lost, and then it got found, and then it got put in this beer. So this is actually the first time I ever used Red X. I know I threw a little bit of rye in there, probably a little bit of wheat, just because I always get a little sprinkle of wheat in all my beers, and probably maybe some light caramel, or some Munich. Probably some Munich in there. I always tend to lose Munich and then find it like forever later because I don't use it very often. But yeah, so that's the color I ended up with. I do remember it being. I think I also got rid of some light DME that I threw in there. So basically, what I did was I mashed. Yeah, I don't even remember. I mashed. I think there's a video on it. I'll try and link it here rather than try and remember back to when I brewed this like over a year ago. But yeah, so this is the beer. It looks very nice. It looks very old ale, like barley wine ish. If I remember correctly, it topped out close to 1090 and it dropped, I think, close to like 1018, 1017 maybe. So it's a good boy. It's a big boy. What's that? If I do some clown math off the top of my head, we're looking at like 8, 9%, somewhere in there, somewhere in the ballpark of a lot. Probably closer to 9. I don't remember the exact values. Obviously, you can tell, but it looks really nice though. That's that Red X malt, and that's something I'd like to play with a little bit more in the future. Uh, Once I buy some more and let it age for a few years, which is obviously what you need to do with your malt, is you need to let it age in a drawer under the washing machine for several years to mature it. All right. Speaking of matured, let's get a drink in here. It tastes very old ale, barley wine, very malty. Um, I will tell you that I had this keg on a while back. After I kegged it, I did drink it fresh because I did let it age for probably. I let it age for probably 3, 4 months before I kegged it, which was more laziness than any kind of like maturation period. Uh, and I remember it being very good, like dangerously good, for how high. I also hopped the balls off of it. I think I used up a lot of. I hodgepodged in a lot of old hops too, a lot of like dust and stuff into it. So it was dangerously good for how high alcohol it was. It's still sort of like that. I don't think I ever did a video tasting of it back in the day, but it would get you in trouble if you drank, because you could drink it really easily. It still drinks relatively easy. There's no alcohol burn or anything to it. There's just that lightheadedness that you get after a few sips because it's a big one. It does have a full body, so you can tell it's pretty strong. Um, it's not super sweet because there's still enough hop bitterness in it to kind of round that out. I think I nailed the bitterness in it somehow. I just absolutely, because my biggest problem with like old ales and barley wines, especially English barley wines, is the sweetness, that full bodied and that sweetness. I like that to be rounded out. That's why I like American barley wines more. I like it to be rounded out by good bitterness and a good hop flavor. But this used to have a decent hop flavor, like a stout has hop flavor. You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't identify it as any kind of certain hop, probably because I used like 20, but it had a good it had a hoppiness to it. Now it doesn't. Other than the bitterness, it's just malt. Um, it's some nice caramel, a little bit of caramel, a little bit of that plumminess, that kind of sweet, dark fruitiness that you can get from like amber beers, and stuff that doesn't have roasted malt in it, so barley wines and that kind of thing. But it's getting a little. It's starting to show some age, and I'm not sure if it's like oxidation sneaking in. It has been kegged this entire time, and it has been refrigerated. It's been in the keezer, just kind of in the corner during my dry spell here, where I wasn't drinking on it. And but it's you can oxidation creeps in no matter what eventually, because it does have a kind of a almost port wine, not like overly oxidized beers, that port wine character, but it's sneaking in on the edges there, and I don't know if that's just something that comes from the malt and the age, or maybe it could be staleness finally dragging in, because I mean that was my main concern with this beer, was is that the malt was old, all of it old. The Red X might have been, one of the newer ones that went in it, and it was 2, 3 years old. So, I had this thought of it could come out like stale tasting, and that maybe that's kind of what this is now. I don't know. It's still a really good beer. It's very drinkable. It has to be ready to kick here in a little while. It's not going to last much longer. In fact, I was worried it might kick here. Actually, I was worried it might kick on the F It Friday that I did. But oh man, it's such a good half and half beer. So yeah, like I said, I didn't put a recipe together for it. I was just playing jazz with it, which kind of sucks because of course, whenever you do that shit, you always end up making a killer beer. Which I mean, this thing is more than a year old, still drinks nice enough, and I mean that's saying something for a homebrew. This is as good as most commercial examples I've had of this kind of style, this more Americanized old ale barley wine type style. So I'd really love to brew that again, um, if I can figure out how to brew it again. There's really no yeast character in it from the Kvike, or maybe it is. It's just hiding in that heavy maltiness and that hop bitterness. But it did ferment the balls off of it, so that's nice. But it also didn't ferment it too much because that was another thing I was worried about, is this thing would get like bone dry somehow, that it'd go from like 1090 to like 1008, and it would be just a burning alcohol bomb. You could do some fire breathing tricks after you took a swig off of it, but that's not the case at all. You cannot even tell until you're drunk that this has close to 9%, 10% alcohol. I don't remember the numbers. I can already feel it's the first thing I've had to drink today, but just from drinking that little bit, I can already start to feel it in the back of my, in that back of your head, where you start to feel that lightness coming on. So it might be even stronger than I think it is. Uh, but yeah, good beer. Good. I mean, it sucks to end up with a great beer that you can't really reproduce. But at the same time, I remember it being such a fun brew day where I was just like pouring shit in, grinding it up, throwing it in. I didn't give a crap about the mash. I didn't give a crap about the boil. I didn't give a shit about what went into it. I was just taking stuff out of the freezer and dumping it in. It was a total like Zen thing, and I can really, if you're ultra process oriented, like I really used to be like that. It's something else to just kind of let loose and really just, yeah, play jazz. Just pour whatever in there, do whatever. Some yeast. I didn't even make a starter. I just dumped it in there. It was from a little plastic vial. I was like, I don't even care. Just gonna dump it right in there. It's probably past its due date. That's why I was trying to use it up. And yeah, just oof. Sometimes sometimes it's just cool to do that. And I mean, luckily I ended up with a pretty good product. But yeah, I might try and recreate this somehow. I might try and follow the steps I do remember and see what I can get, because this is a nice beer. This is the kind of beer I wish that I had bottled so that I could kind of track it long term. But well, oh wow, I was going to talk about some other stuff, but 14 minutes just waxing poetic on this beer. I don't think that I'm gonna go waste any more of your time. So before this gets to 15 minutes, I'm gonna say happy F It Wednesday, happy Homebrew Friday, and yeah, let me know if what's your have you ever done that? Done the beer jazz, and how'd that turn out? Cheers, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye bye. Why did I say that?